I bid you all good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. So, on the channel now, for a long time, we've been talking about mass exoduses, movements, housing migrants, people that are basically bought out of their own cities, born and raised, who are moving around to other states in America, other provinces, and same thing in Canada, same thing in Australia, same thing in New Zealand. A lot of these countries, I don't think America is, but most of the Commonwealth, they're competing for rich investors from China, and that's basically crippling a lot of the locals living in their own cities. And what are they turning these cities into? I just saw a video from Mark Dice, just threw up a video about something about California turning into, yeah, I'm not going to say some of the words on here because I might get my video flagged. And then Paul Joseph Watson did a whole California dreaming thing on it, and it's bad. And I could say that Vancouver is becoming like that, and it's getting worse over time. So is Portland, Oregon, and so is Seattle. They're all becoming like that. A lot of the condos, let's say the high-end luxury condos in Washington State in the Seattle area, are all corporate numbered owned, and they're empty. Nobody knows. There's more empty homes for every homeless person in California. There's about four to five empty homes available, empty, that are basically investment properties. Now, you're probably saying, Mike, why would they give these homes for free? No, it's not that, because then prices, we wouldn't have these false or fake pent up prices. People on a median sized pension wouldn't be homeless today. They would just be renting where they were for the last 20 years, but they got rent evicted and they can't find anything for the same price. They can't afford to leave states. So what do? They end up sleeping on the streets. So that would have cured quite a bit of their problem if things didn't get so expensive so fast, right? Wages not catching up, pensions are not catching up, and people are, on a military pension, people on a budget, it becomes hard. Anyway, so now here it is. Blue state exodus gains momentum. This is from yesterday from our friends over at Zero Hedge, from my man Tyler Durden. Remember what Tyler Durden said? It's not the things you own, it's the things that own you end up owning you. The things you own end up owning you, taking a life and owning you, right? 9 years ago, I published a piece that asserted voters around the country are concluding it's better to be red than dead, applying most than exact opposite meaning to an old phrase referring to communism. New Census Bureau figures appear to confirm my prediction mostly. Right? My point was that many voters were and are increasingly fed up with the high taxes, have heavy regulations, and increasing social weakness that have come to criticize most blue states, i.e., those dominated by liberal politicians and policies. I argued that voters wanting to live in a business-friendly, physically responsible state that minimizes its tax burden would either vote out liberals, destroying their state's economy, or flee to a red state. The latest Census Bureau reported highlights the red state shift. Okay, according to an election data services analysis of the Census Bureau report, the population projections point toward a 10 congressional seat change over the 17 states across the nation by the year 2020. 7 states are projected to gain one more congressional seat after 2020 election. 10 states are projected to lose one seat. The red state leader is Texas, with a projected pickup of 3 congressional seats following 2020 census. Remember, guys, Texas is a Lone Star state. It's gonna get to a point where it turns into a poop hole. Everything around them turns to a poop hole. They'll just secede if they have to. They'll find a way to secede, right? And that after gaining 4 congressional seats after the 2010 election, Florida will pick up 2 seats, and Arizona, Colorado, Montana, North Carolina, Oregon each gain 1, according to the analysis. All 10 losing states, Alabama, California, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and West Virginia, lose only 1 seat. Of the average state's seats, 5 voted for Donald Trump in 2016 presidential election. Of 10 states losing seats, 5 voted for Donald Trump and 5 for Hillary Clinton. But 2 of those 5 losing states that voted for Trump, Michigan and Pennsylvania, surprised most analysis since they have been blue leaners for several years. And West Virginia is losing population in part of because of a struggling state economy that has been so dependent on coal. Arguably, even some of the blue state gainers may support my general point. If you are a blue-leaning California who wants to escape the Golden State's drift into madness, but stay on the left coast of Oregon, it might be a reasonable alternative. Because Oregon also has become turning into a gong show, homelessness, needles on the street, poop shows. They even have a poop hotline that they implemented recently where you call if somebody pooped on the streets. Ditto for Colorado, which has turned from red to bluish over the last decade or so. Californians increasingly heard from the hills, so to speak. So Californians increasingly head for the hills, so to speak. Sorry, head for the hills. Run to the hills! But what's going on? Californians are bringing their leftist tactics to these other states and bringing their philosophies of why are they leaving those states in the first place if that's the greatest thing in the world? That doesn't make any sense. Walking Journey. Go check out his channel, The Walking Journey. He talks about this. He left California, moved to Texas, but he's very heavily conservative. He owns guns. He owns land. He protects his family. He works like an animal. He works very hard, this guy. And he basically shows his, daily day-to-day and stuff and what's going on and what's not going on, you know what I'm saying? But that trend also highlighted a problem. Some of the people fleeing the destructive blue state taxes and regulations appear to drag their pro-big government philosophy with them, apparently obvious to the fact that those policies destroyed the state they are trying to escape. So people don't give up their old ways or the old republic, you know what I'm saying? One can even see the dynamic occurring in Texas. For a decade or so, liberals have been predicting, not to mention hoping, that Texas' growing Hispanic population would turn the state from a deep red to purple and perhaps even a blue. But there is another factor. Texas has become one of the primary destinations for disaffected or disenfranchised Californians, as more and more California businesses have concluded it's time to go where they will be appreciated. So what's happening is it's Wagons East, right? Wait till a big channel picks that up. I'm calling Wagons East. I've been saying that for almost a year and a half now. Wagons East, no more Wagons West. For people that remember during the time of expansion, when everybody headed on their wagons from Oregon. Remember the Oregon Trail game? From Oregon, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Minnesota, Illinois, even tons of people from, where's that place called? Baltimore are moving west back in the day. Now, fast forward to electric cars or wannabe electric cars taking over the scene. And what's happening? Everyone's moving back east because of this dystopia of madness. Also, Fox News did a special with Tucker Carlson about this whole thing that's going on. It's a 5-part series about the dystopia of California. It's 5 parts. Watch it. It's really good. In addition, many California families have decided to migrate to Texas simply to find more affordable housing. Yes, you can go to Fort Worth, Texas, and buy a house for $170,000, a 4 or 5 bedroom. You can. Lower taxes and streets aren't rife with homeless people, fences and used drug paraphernalia, and Texas even has a 367-mile-long coast. But we cannot overstate the significance of the Census Bureau's top-line finding. Texas will gain 2 of 3 congressional seats after 2020, while California will likely lose 1. That's a big deal for California, which has never lost a congressional seat. It is a tactic. It is a tactic repudiation of California's over the last top tax taxes, and policies. Some of the other blue states, such as New York and Illinois, have been bleeding people for years. So people are mass exiting those places too. I don't mind. I understand people are leaving Illinois. A lot of those steel workers and stuff, coal workers and stuff, factory workers and stuff have been leaving Illinois. Not because Illinois is turning bad, for say violence is up, but I'm saying it's because there's 7, 8, 9 layers of government in Illinois. We don't even know who's tricking or treating. So several years ago, I interviewed the editor of Chief Executive Magazine, which conducts an annual CEO survey of the best and worst states to do business. The editor told me in a survey that two constants: Texas always comes in as the best state to do business, and California always comes up as dead last. Oh, and Florida, which has projected to gain 2 seats, usually comes in second place. Don't do this to Florida. Come on, man, guys. It was only a matter of time before both businesses and individuals began voting with their feet, and that time has apparently come. More importantly, the blue state exodus is only a snapshot of what dissatisfaction will emerge if the blue state policies taking over the White House. So, guys, I mean, the red is keeping up their fight as much as possible. Parts here are slowly starting to turn blue, and guys, if you're leaving, if people are leaving, why don't they just leave and be open to a new thought in mind, a new progressive future, a new politically, open your mind politically to use a better, more sophisticated political lens to see the landscape. Why are these places still good? Because they haven't been completely blue washed, if you want to say it that way. Guys, open up your mind politically to being on the right side of the force. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn to the dark side, because turning to the dark side, look what's happened to all those states on the West Coast. You know, now a lot of those states now are competing. I've read several articles where Seattle and Oregon development builders are going to China to bring in more wealthy investors. They're making pamphlets in Mandarin. They don't even care about the people that live there. Wow, that sounds familiar, Mike. Well, that happened in Vancouver. I'm one of the prodigies from Vancouver. I left Vancouver, right? Growing up as a child, my parents were diehard liberals, but they were diehard liberals because of the European oppression that they oppressed back from the Salazarian age in Portugal. But now, we're all of us are heavy conservatives, building business. I own a small business in town, building a family. I have 3 kids, and basically creating my wage as I go along. Anyways, guys, in the state of creating my own wage, guys, don't forget to join the channel here if you can. Right here, join the channel. Be part of the community. There's lots going on. I got 2 live shows. I got Mike in the Night every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. People call into the show. It's a beautiful show. I had
Gillette fiasco earlier.
It's almost like there's no continuity of government. It seems like there's no organization. I know the people themselves, the volunteers, they're putting their backs into it. They're trying to make
marketer, like everything is just made so like
people called in. This is from the fires in Australia. People call in all the time to the shows and stuff. It's called Mike in the Night, and we also have Trends in the Housing Market every Wednesday. Longest Trends running housing show for just talking about housing, and that's why I know what's going on in the housing market very well. Don't forget to, if you want to message me, go ahead to my fan page. Mike Martins, it has 117,000 followers. Follow this page here. There's a couple of fake ones. Shoot me a tip on PayPal if you can, and just be part of the community here. It's a growing community. We're slowly growing and getting more and more guests on the show, and it's great. I love it. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. Let me know. Comment below, guys. Thanks for watching. Lots of love out there. Lots of love to you guys. And remember, guys, start looking things through more of a conservative lens and understanding why other places are better, because they haven't been poisoned by its liberal agendas yet. Thanks for watching.